Hello my dear friends, welcome back. Welcome to your channel Cooking Astrology. And first of all, I would like to thank all of you for subscribing my channel and liking my videos. Thanks a lot. So say hello to my new friend. Okay, you can say hello here. Okay, do you want to be in the video and part of this video? So let's come back to the topic of retrograde planets and the karmas. Let him go. Okay, you can leave now. See, first of all, have you seen some broken relationships and that are not totally broken? Or sometime have you experienced such kind of a feelings where it become very difficult for you to move on or jump on from one relation to new relation to new relation to all the time? So why such kind of a things are actually happening? And even sometimes the on and off kind of a relationship, like 2 to 3 months of your life, the relationship is totally turned off. Then again you are actually coming back to the same partner or the same person. Again the relationship is off for next 2, 3, 4 months and maybe for a completely 1 year, and immediately the same relationship will trigger immediately after 1 year with that particular person. And now you will not be able to understand what exactly is the karmic connection with that one particular person, and why my circumstances are only going to revolve around that particular person. And this is where the concept of retrogression is going to play a very, very important role in your horoscope. I have already made a lot of videos, not lot of, but the 3 videos on the retrograde planets, Jupiter and Saturn, and even the one video which I have discussed over the what exactly is the retrograde. So you can please watch that 3 videos as well if you want to understand this concept in more detail. And here I'm going to discuss more with regards to the Venus retrograde and the karmas that are even associated with the 7th house of the marriage and the married life aspect. See, 7th house is the house of your marriage, and everyone knows Venus is actually the significator of your marriage. Irrespective whether you are a male or a female, Venus is the representation of your marriage and the married life aspect. Now, if this particular planet, Venus I'm talking about, is actually getting retrograde in your horoscope, then eventually what is going to happen, you are going to get into one sort of a relationship. It may be one-on-one relationship or it may be one-sided relationship, and this eventually is going to create a very strong emotional connect with one particular person into your life. Now, as soon as you develop that bond with that particular person, if the Venus is retrograde over there, it becomes very difficult for you to actually move on or jump on from this relation to some new relation. This is exactly the holding, or consider it as a potential form of energy which is at a very high level in the retrograde planet. Similarly with the 7th house also, because this is the house of your marriage and the married life aspect. Now, if the 7th house lord is also retrograde, or if the significator, that is Venus, is also retrograde in your horoscope, or even if the 7th house lord is in connection with some retrograde planet, you are going to experience the moreover same kind of results into your life. Because retrogression is happening because of some of your past life karmas which are completely unfulfilled. Like you are going in one particular direction, and then again you will stop here and then move backward. Again you are going forward, again the retrogression is going to impact you. So this is just like a back and forth motion, and this motion is specifically you are going to experience with regards to the relationship aspect. And the retrogression of Venus is only going to impact you in a particular relationship with one particular person. Now, many of you will ask me whether this is going to be some sort of a destined person, whether I'm going to receive it or not. If these kind of things are eventually happening in my life, so is there a way to check whether the other person or that partner is actually going to manifest back into my life or not? And many of you are waiting as well. Many individuals with retrogression Venus, or as I told you 7th house lord, it becomes very difficult for you to actually jump on or move from one relation to new relation to new relation to all the time, because the retrogression will not take the casual aspect towards the relationship. Here the energy is really going to be that much strong, where you try to create or build a strong connection with that person. It doesn't matter whether that other person is going to treat you completely badly or that other person is treating you in a good manner. This thing also not matter whether your relationships are going to be completely 100% cordial, or this is a 70-30 relationship, or even a 50-50% relationship. It doesn't matter. But retrogression is going to impact you in the same particular manner. And most of the time, as far as the timings are concerned, whenever you are going to go through the 7th house Lord Antardasha or planet Venus Antardasha in your horoscope, you are eventually going to feel the lot of attention, or consider this thing as some sort of a strong desires that will come inside you, like I need to be in a relationship with only that particular person. No matter if the new person is coming in your life, you don't want to entertain any new relationship. Any new thought of new relationship is also going to be very difficult in your mind. Your mind will not be able to conceive that thing, like how actually I can create a same bond, same feelings with the new person, because that I have already devoted. Because retrograde Venus is a pure devotion. This is like a bhakti mark, where you are fully devoted to one particular person. And I will tell you, most of the charts, the timings are also going to be very specific, whether this thing is actually going to happening for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, even 50, 20 years, or sometime that is going to be a lifetime. Don't think like that this retrogression is only going to impact me when in the transit time that Venus is getting retrograde. I totally understand. During that time, the energy is going to be at a very high level, or you will feel that emotions in the very extreme manner. But the emotions are somewhat going to be present inside you, irrespective whether in the transit that Venus is getting retrograde or not. Even one very important thing, Venus is a planet of your wealth as well. So all the materialistic riches that you are going to accumulate in your life, or it may be any sort of valuable possessions which you are going to hoard in your life, these things are actually seen with planet Venus in your horoscope. Now the retrograde Venus with regards to wealth aspect is also going to be a very, very challenging placement, specifically if that Venus is connected with your 2nd house, 11th house, even with your 4th house, and even with your 12th house also. And by mean to say connection, whether it is posited over there or this is aspecting that houses as well, still you are going to feel its impact. If this planet is actually getting retrograde, the wealth state or the amount of wealth which you are going to see in your life is going to be way beyond your imagination. And this Venus retrograde have the ability, because of your stored karma, okay, it is not necessary like this is your just only previous birth karma. It may be previous birth karmas that is in the stored form you have received in this life, and because of that back and forth movement, that stored form of karma is getting converted into some sort of a kinetic energy, and you are receiving its results. Now as soon as your chart or your Venus retrograde have the ability to give you extreme amount of riches, at the same time they have the ability to fall you back. And this is going to be the main reasons behind the financial instability in most of the charts. You are going to look into your 11th house. My 11th house, the house of incoming gains, that is very powerful. My 2nd house, that is wealth, savings lord, is also very powerful. Even my 12th house is not afflicted. So like my chart is looking very powerful from the money and wealth aspect. Even my D2 Hora chart, that is also very, very powerful. But still, why actually I'm gaining sudden money and losing suddenly all the money? This is a combination which is also governed under the Venus retrograde. Because this is, I told you, this is some sort of a stored form of karma. And most of the time in the male chart, Venus is the representation of your wife. Venus is a representation of your wife immediately after marriage. And in general, Venus is a significant of the relationships as well. So as soon as you are entering into any sort of a relationship, or you are getting married also, that retrograde Venus is getting activated at that point. Now after this retrogression, either your wealth potential is going to increase, or either that wealth potential is going to decrease. It totally depends upon the Venus dignity. Now if the wealth potential is getting increased, wait until the next Venus retrograde in the transit time is going to hit in the same exact zodiac sign, in the same particular degrees. When that Venus transit is going to happen, that is going to be the time period. Either this is going to take you upward, or either this is going to take you downward. And that is why most of the individuals, they come to me for money and wealth consultation, and I sincerely advise them one simple thing. At the time in the transit time, if your Venus is specifically getting retrograde, please don't make any financial decisions during that time frame. It may be any sort of a major financial decisions, or it may be some sort of a minor financial decisions. Please avoid making decisions during that time frame. Astrology have the ability to actually protect you, to safeguard you, or be aware of what events that might going to trigger if that single planet is getting retrograde. Because I will tell you, both of these areas, your marriage and the married life aspect, and your wealth, both of these areas, they are actually getting deeply impacted by this single most planet, Venus, if it is retrograde in your chart. Although in the positive side, I will tell you, this planet retrograde have the ability to feel that intense amount of emotions in your life, and the intensity is going to be at such a high rate or such a high level, it become very difficult for you to explain these feelings, like by just doing that communication. It is not possible for me to give you that feelings over there. But this is your some sort of a karmic connection which you have bring forth in this present life. And I will tell you, as I told you, most of the time it may like going to be for 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25, or maybe for a lifetime you are going to experience that thing. But most of the charts, when the Rahu and Ketu axis, that is 42 till 48, during that time frame or during that transition, they are actually going to experience a lot of parivartan, lot of new changes into their life. It may be personally, or it may be professionally, or it may be financially. But suppose during that time frame that Rahu and Ketu axis is actually getting matured in your horoscope, what is going to happen? They have learnt their lessons. They have learnt how far I need to go with one person in the matters of love, care, affection and support. Then they eventually start to put some sort of a boundaries in front of them. Even from the financial perspective also, they are going to be initially very careless. Because Venus, I told you, this will give you flow of money with like no other planet is capable of giving you that much flow of money. So after learning from their mistakes, they tend to become very self-aware individuals. Sometimes these things happen very early. When they hit Mars maturity at the age of 28, they become very mature. Because initially they have learnt their life lessons. Like this retrograde planet have the capacity to destroy my complete life, or have the ability to actually make my complete life. So in this way you need to study that Venus retrograde. And same thing apply if the 7th house lord is also getting retrograde. Even any sort of a connection with that 7th house lord with the retrograde energy, you are going to experience the same amount of results with regards to the relationship aspect. The only remedy for that retrograde planet is you need to chant any particular mantra for more than 100,000 times. By chanting that same mantra again and again on a Rudraksh beads, on a Tulsi beads, this will eventually help you to get out of that karmic cycle which is created by retrograde planet. Then you are destroying your karma, previous birth karma. When you are chanting that malana, suppose you are chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or maybe Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Namah. So you, by chanting these mantras, you are not doing anything. You are actually burning the karmas, your previous birth karma. So suppose you are going to suffer for next 10 years, the sufferings will come immediately. Within the next 1 year, you are going to suffer all the sufferings. So by chanting any particular mantra, Bij mantra, on a Rudraksh mala or on a Tulsi beads mala, this will eventually help you to nullify the bad impacts that is delivered by the retrograde Venus in your horoscope. So I hope you have found some deep insights in this particular video. If you have any queries, any consultations regarding your planetary retrogradation, do let me know. You can please watch my playlist as well. I will link it in the description below as well. And you can please hit the subscribe button, make sure to hit the like button also, and kindly share my YouTube channel with your friends and family members who are in love with Vedic astrology, and I will try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Also, please don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well, and I'm going to meet you very soon in the next video. Till then, bye bye and take care.